In the fall of 2013, the National Cancer Institute, along with the Avon Foundation for Women and the Center for Advancing Innovation, launched the Breast Cancer Startup Challenge, inviting university teams to submit proposals on how they each would commercialize one of 10 inventions. On March 5, 2014, sponsors, inventors, breast cancer advocates, and the 10 winners and 2 finalists, who received funding from Avon to help launch those inventions into actual startup companies, came together to receive their awards. Some of the participants sat down to talk about the challenge.
The Avon Foundation is part of the Breast Cancer Startup Challenge. We've had a long history of strategic partnerships with the National Cancer Institute, and we see the Startup Challenge as one of the most innovative programs to accelerate getting discoveries from the lab bench into clinical development. The partnership with Avon Foundation, the National Cancer Institute, and the Center for Advancing Innovation is really a unique way to bridge all parties, the academic sector, the government sector, and the private nonprofit sector.
As background, the Center for Advancing Innovation has been working with the National Cancer Institute and the Avon Foundation to evaluate their research portfolios and identify near-term commercially viable inventions. Out of our rigorous analysis, we found 50 promising inventions from the National Cancer Institute and 6 gems from the Avon Foundation portfolio. For 10 of the breast cancer-related inventions, the best commercialization path is a startup. The Breast Cancer Startup Challenge is a global competition to create business plans and launch new startups around these 10 inventions in order to accelerate their development and maximize their commercial potential. Eventually, we hope these inventions will dramatically improve the standard of care for breast cancer.
The challenge is important because we're going to benefit the cancer patient. That's the key of what we're trying to do here, and that's the mission for NCI, is to benefit the cancer patient. And in this case, there are 10 inventions that have some relation to breast cancer, and so if we can relieve the suffering and even the death that's associated with cancer, I think that is a huge benefit. For me, it's very encouraging to be able to put this challenge out there and to see young scientists rise up with such energy, such enthusiasm to go forward with this. We got a large number of business plans in, and they were all very good. And today we're celebrating those 10 winners, which have really just outshined what we had expected, and we're really excited for them. So innovation is alive and well.
When I first learned about this particular challenge, it was really interesting to me, because when you look at the history of technology transfer across not just the federal government, but many institutions, academic institutions included, they're pretty traditional mechanisms by which the technologies that have been developed at these organizations get out into the world. It's usually people sort of going off one by one, picking off individuals or groups that they think would be appropriate for actually addressing those innovations or taking those innovations and commercializing them. And that has a certain success rate. It's limited by bandwidth. It's limited by people. What's interesting about this is that you're getting a whole new group of people involved in a challenge and involved in this idea of taking existing breakthroughs and existing innovations and trying to figure out new ways of commercializing them. I love the idea of bringing students into the mix, people who are young and energetic, can survive on pizza and Mountain Dew to basically develop these ideas. And I am personally incredibly fascinated to see what results in this.
We're starting with this novel invention in order to take cells out of your body and turn them into incredibly potent immune activators. And what we do then is we sensitize these cells to a cancer patient's individual tumors, put them back into the patient, and allow then a massive immune response specifically targeted to that cancer, to that patient's cancer, making a truly personalized therapy.
Our team is working on developing an anti-cancer toxin that empowers targeted therapies, which means we improve them, make them more powerful, but also safer for patients. So I think being 20 years old, you feel kind of useless, and you see a lot of suffering in the world and pain, and I think being a part of this challenge, we got pretty close to the foundations and the people who are really suffering today because of cancer. And I think being a part of this challenge has been extremely empowering, because I feel like we finally have the tools and people who believe in us to actually go out there and make a difference for patients.
I think that if we collectively look at these teams, I would refer to them as teams of hope. as a breast cancer survivor myself and being able to share some of my story and some of my hopes for the future, I believe that these individuals are truly accelerated now as a result of today's awards ceremony, and that they can't wait to get back home so that they can begin their work.